Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we are going to be taking an in-depth look at the arithmetic series formula. Hopefully going to explain it to you in such a way that will help you to remember it. It's not that you have to memorize it. So here we have the arithmetic series formula. This is what IB gives to us. This is going to be the sum of the first n terms. Our n here, this is the number of terms. U sub 1 is our first term, and U sub n is our last term. And this is the formula that you're going to be seeing on the IB formula sheet when you take your IB testing and applications and interpretations. So you will have this formula provided. You don't have to memorize it. So it's really important to understand where it comes from and what we use it for. So let's do an example. So we need a series of numbers. I'm just going to start at 6, and I'm picking this out of my head. And I'm actually going to be doing a common difference of 1. Okay, so here we have a common difference of 1. So basically I'm counting by ones, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1, all the way to 14. I see that I started with the number 6, so this is my first term. This is my U sub 1. And so if this is U sub 1, this is U sub 2. This is U sub 3, U sub 4, U sub 5, U sub 6, U sub 7, U sub 8, and U sub 9. And this is my U sub 9, which is my last term. And instead of saying U sub 9, this is actually going to be our U sub n. And our n takes the number 9 because it is our 9th term, which is our last term. That's where we stop. All right, so let's say that I wanted to add all of these up. Now, you could do it just by adding them up. So 6 plus 7 plus 8. Okay, and so this is going to give us our sum of the first 9 numbers. That's S sub 9. So this 9 is our n right here. That's the first 9 numbers, 6 through 14. And when I do that, I'm going to get a sum, if I add it up in my calculator, of 90. That's what I'm going to end up getting. Now, this is all well and good because I have 9 terms. But what happened if I had 100 terms or 115 terms that I had to add up? There's no way that you're going to be able to sit here and add up 115 terms. So what we can use is we can use our formula. Now this formula is given such a way that I really don't think it gives it justice as to why we use this formula. So let's investigate. The first thing that I want to investigate are adding these two numbers and then dividing by 2. So I'm actually going to rewrite the formula in another way that is completely, absolutely fine. You can do this in mathematics. So our formula is S sub n, okay? Now we have the first number plus the last number. That's what this means. And usually it's going to be times n divided by 2. But you know what? I'm not going to divide the n by 2. I'm going to divide the u plus n over 2. So I'm going to switch it around. I'm going to bring this and I'm going to divide it by 2 here. And that's absolutely fine as long as I remember to multiply by n when I'm done. So this is really saying I just moved the 2 from being divided by here to over here. And that's fine because it was really like we had our n over 1, u1 plus u2 over 2. So this is really what I'm doing here. But before it was n over 2 times u sub 1 plus u sub 2 over 1. So 1 times 2 is 2 times 1 in the long run. So I am able to switch it underneath here. And I actually like writing it out better like this because let me show you what happens. For this one, we take our first number. So we want to find the sum of the first 9 terms. Okay. So the n takes on the 9 value. Our first term was 6, u sub 1 is 6, plus our last term, our u sub 9 is 14. And we divide it by 2. Okay, Let's do some math. S sub 9 equals 9 times. So what we're doing here is we're taking 6, we're adding it to 14. That's going to give us 20. And when we divide it by 2, we're going to come out with 10. This comes out to be 10. Where in this series of numbers do you see the number 10? That's right. The number 10 is the middle number. Have you seen this formula before? U sub 1 plus U sub n divided by 2. Maybe you've seen this formula before. X sub 1 plus X sub 2 divided by 2. Maybe you've seen this formula before. Y sub 1 plus Y sub 2 divided by 2. Maybe you notice this as being a midpoint formula. Yes, that's where it's come from. This is a midpoint formula. So what we're really doing here is we are first finding our middle point of this entire series of numbers, entire sequence of numbers. We're finding our middle number. That's the 6 plus 14 divided by 2. U sub 1 plus U sub n divided by 2. What's our middle number? And then what we're going to do is we're going to multiply our middle number by the number of terms. And lo and behold, we're going to get our sum of the 9th term equaling 90. Same exact as doing it, just adding them up. So if you find the middle number and you multiply it by the number of terms, you get our sum. So while this is all well and good for a formula that you may not have recognized, we can turn it into something that we recognize. We can turn it into finding a middle number, and multiplying it by the number of terms. Add up the first and the last, cut it in half, multiply it by the middle number. And so that's where we really get our arithmetic series formula. Hopefully this has helped. Now you know, and hopefully you can remember it and bring it with you. So good luck.